Good evening. I'm Sandra Lyon, Superintendent of the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District, and it's my pleasure to invite you to have the forum tonight in our boardroom. And I thought I'd introduce and welcome our district with an anecdote about one of our namesakes, Will Rogers, who, as we know, engaged in a lot of humor and some campaigning, and it seemed appropriate for the evening. In 1928, he ran a mock campaign for president, and he was on the anti-bunk party, and he was the bunkless candidate. He said that his only campaign promise was that if he was elected, he would resign. And he did declare victory and did just that. There were two questions that were posed to him, and he answered them with appropriate humor. Asked what issues would motivate voters, he said at the time, prohibition, what's on your hip is bound to be on your mind. And asked if there should be presidential debates, he said yes, joint debate, in any joint you name. So welcome to our joint, the boardroom, for your forum this evening. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Sandy. Good evening and welcome. My name is Sandy Jacobson, and it is my pleasure to be your moderator this evening and to welcome you to this Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District Board of Education Candidates Forum, being held in the boardroom of the School District Administrative Offices. This forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Santa Monica and the Santa Monica Malibu PTA Council, working with City TV of Santa Monica. The League and PTA are both nonpartisan, nonprofit organizations. We neither support nor oppose candidates for public office. During this forum, you will be hearing from the 7 candidates who are running for 4 open seats on the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District Board of Education. The individuals you elect will serve 4-year terms of office beginning in December 2014. We will now turn to opening statements. Each candidate will introduce him or herself and will have 1 minute. Lori Lieberman, will you lead us off, please?
Sure. My name's Lori Lieberman. As a school board member for the last 4 years, I believe my commitment to inclusive and thoughtful leadership has made a real difference in improving the financial and educational state of our schools. I've strived to be a voice for all students by helping develop policies that move our district toward its goals of excellence and equity. I initiated and co-chaired the successful bond campaign to modernize our schools and make them safer. I've strengthened partnerships with the city, Santa Monica College, and nonprofits that work with the district to provide preschool, after-school, and other important student programs. I'm running for re-election because I really want to see to fruition projects that have begun and help usher in new ones. I'm proud that my re-election is endorsed by many local community leaders and parents, including Congresswoman Julia Brownlee, Assembly Member Richard Bloom, former State Senator Sheila Kuehl, and many others. I hope to earn your support, too.
Thank you. Dun May, please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dun May. I have about 40 years of teaching experience, and I hold a master's degree in mathematics. I seek to utilize observations from my varied teaching experience to help our progressive district make a conscious push for creating positive influences that will reinforce the goodness, creativity, compassion, and ambition within our children. For example, the district could provide more character-building books in elementary school classrooms and school libraries, including books that portray boys as heroes. Conversely, the district can systematically discourage children's consumption of negative, inappropriate, or violent material from media sources or other sources. Other actions the district could take in this vein are promoting...
We'll catch up on, we'll hear more about that later. Thank you. Ralph Meacher, please.
Good evening. I'm Ralph Meacher, and I am seeking re-election to the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District Board of Education. I've been a dedicated civic leader for over 30 years, involved in important educational initiatives, including managing partial tax and capital bond campaigns to expand programs and improvement projects, co-founding the Community for Excellent Public Schools, leading to an historic agreement with the City of Santa Monica to financially support the district, and creating endowments supporting the arts and literacy with the Education Foundation. As a school board member since 2007, I have worked diligently to make sure our Santa Monica and Malibu students have continued to achieve at high levels through challenging times. Sound financial planning has preserved strong academic and arts programs. With the implementation of the Vision for Student Success program, we are now, for the first time, providing similar programs and teacher support services in all our schools. We're becoming a true professional learning community focused on student achievement. I'm committed to ensuring that each and every child receives the quality education he or she deserves.
Thank you. Oscar De La Torre, please.
Good evening. My name is Oscar De La Torre, and I'm running for re-election to the school board. While serving as student body president at Santa Monica High, I decided to commit my life to public service. I completed my master's degree in public administration and returned to Santa Monica High School to counsel students. In 2002, I founded a youth center that has served hundreds of local youth. I have a personal commitment to serving the community, especially the students of our school district. I'm a public school advocate with 12 years of proven leadership on the school board. I served as president of the board in 2008 and will continue to ensure that transparency and accountability are values that guide our decision making. As a father of two wonderful boys, I want to keep the doors of educational opportunity open for future generations. I'm proud of my record on the school board because I have stood strong during challenging times to support student safety, excellent instruction, and parent engagement in our school district. I ask for your vote because our students deserve experienced leadership on the school board. As a former student and employee of our school district and a current executive director of a youth center, I have what it takes to move our school district forward.
Thank you, Oscar. Richard Tavildaran Justman, please.
Hi, good evening. I want to thank the League of Women Voters. I'm very excited. I'm a parent in the district. I have two children, one who is in middle school and one who is in the high school at Santa Monica, the Santa Monica High School. I'm a professor at Santa Monica College, a full professor where I've taught for 16 years. I have been an advocate for education because education is a path to the middle class. It has been for me. Education is a social justice issue for me. I want to make sure that all of our kids in our community have the opportunity that I have had to make it to the middle class. I love Santa Monica. I have been involved with the Public Policy Institute at Santa Monica College. I'm its associate director. I am on the PTA Council as the Vice President for Education. My name is Richard Tavildaran Justman, and I believe in the joy of education and supporting our kids so that they can find the awe in learning.
Thank you. Craig Foster, please.
I'm Craig Foster. I'm a parent and I'm a teacher. My journey here started in my daughter's kindergarten class 7 years ago. 2 hours a week turned into 2 days a week, turned into a master's degree, a teaching certificate, a PTA presidency, a job on the Financial Oversight Committee here in Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District, and now here. I believe in child-centered education. I believe in educating our children for the 21st century, and I believe in collaboration, in crowdsourcing, and working together as a community to make our schools the best they can be. Education is my passion. I'm here to help, and I am going to ask you to give me a chance to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Patty Feiner, please.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting us all here this evening. My name is Patty Feiner. I am a second-generation American in Angelino. I'm a graduate of USC and UCLA, and I have a single son who is a graduate of the University of California, Santa Cruz. I am running for this office because I believe that we need to address the Malibu issue, that we need to look at privatizing and outsourcing that the school board may be looking at, and also the paradigm shift that involves not only the Common Core, but technology. I'm currently doing and finishing up a master's degree in educational technology at the Widener University, and oh, I lost my train of thought.
Well, your time was up anyway, so that worked out perfectly. All right, now I'm going to explain the format. Each candidate will be given the opportunity to answer a variety of questions with a maximum of 1 minute for each response. Questions during tonight's forum will be asked of the candidates in random order according to a blind matrix created by the League of Women Voters of Santa Monica Education Fund. We'll start with questions asked by representatives of the co-sponsoring organization. Representing the League of Women Voters of Santa Monica this evening is Joanne Levitt, past president, and representing the Santa Monica Malibu PTA Council is their president, Rochelle Finale. We will then have a question that has been sent in by a member of the press. These questions will be answered by all 7 candidates. Following that, the remainder of the forum will include rounds during which all candidates answer the same question and rounds during which each candidate will answer a different question. To conclude the forum, each candidate will be given 90 seconds to comment, rebut, augment, or clarify any topic raised during the forum. Candidates will speak in reverse order of opening statements. And to our audience, we ask that you please hold your applause until the end of the forum, which will keep our proceedings impartial and allow us to ask as many questions as possible. So, turning to our panel questions, our first question will be asked by Joanne Levitt, past president of the League of Women Voters of Santa Monica.
The League of Women Voters education positions at both the state and the national levels support an accessible, high-quality early childhood program for all children, enabling all to enter school ready to learn. How, policy-wise, can you encourage early learning programs in Santa Monica, Malibu to be better integrated into the K-12 system and into the local school culture?
Thank you, Joanne. Ralph Metcher, please.
I'm a big supporter of early childhood education. I agree that students need to enter kindergarten ready to learn. I'm hopeful that sometime in the near future, either at the state level with the governor or by presidential action, federal level, that preschool will become part of our continuum, pre-K through 14 of public education. We have a variety of preschool programs in our district. They are funded from different sources and have different requirements for different programs. It's our intention, as we can acquire the financial resources, to have a preschool program that fits in with the rest of our curriculum. We have our RTI, response to intervention programs, where we're working with individual students to help better prepare them with skills, and we have the creative curriculum this year, which is the same curriculum used in all our preschools.
Thank you, Ralph. Oscar De La Torre, please.
I appreciate the question because I have a 4-year-old son. My son Fidel attends our preschool program here in our school district, as my son Oscar Jr. also attended. I believe that we needed a paradigm shift. We've been talking about K through 12 for many years, and I think being that we have one of the best community colleges in the state, that we should start talking about P through 16. So preschool to 16, meaning that from cradle to career, as the city of Santa Monica has talked about, that we provide ample opportunity, expand access and opportunity for students to learn from preschool all the way to bachelor's degree, which now, with the new law that the governor has signed, we have that opportunity. I think there needs to be more alignment, though, between preschool and kindergarten, so we need to do a little bit better work of ensuring that students are well prepared once they get into kindergarten. And so my commitment has always been to ensure that that happens.
Thank you. Richard Tavildaran Jeswin, please.
Thank you. Early childhood education is key. What we learn first, we learn best. And so many of us in our community are concerned with the achievement gap, and we are stretching our minds to find ways in which we can address that. We have to see our kids at the earliest stages and provide them the resources they need and that families need to be able to assist. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing in our community with the Cradle to Career. I serve on that task force, that work group. We have to be collaborative. We have to work with the different agencies in our community, profit and for nonprofit, and also we have to make the connection. It's pre-K to 12, Oscar's right, but we also have to look up the street here to Santa Monica College and look over at the Civic Center and see what we can do to really meet the master plan for education that is pre-K, early childhood education, through higher ed or career technical education.
Thank you very much. Lori Lieberman, please.
I'll try to pick up on some of the threads I think that everyone up here has outlined, because I can't say that I disagree with anything that's been said so far. I mean, I think we all know that early childhood and education and early preparation is crucial to success, and that kindergarten teachers can see early on the kids that haven't had any preparation and are already behind. And then that cycle, that just begins a cycle that goes on through the later school years. In our district, we have begun to explore the moving toward a neighborhood school model. I'm not, as Ralph alluded to, funds are part of the issue there. We don't have the funds that, and we have a hodgepodge of funding sources now that fund our preschools. And we have part-time and full-time programs, part-time and full-time money from Head Start, LA Up, a couple of other funding sources. And so our programs, even internally, need to be aligned at the preschool level, let alone with the elementary schools that kids are then going to flow into.
Thank you, Larry. Don May, please.
Hello, thank you for the question. Yes, I think preschool can be very important, but I don't think it should be absolutely required. I do believe that it's very important what happens in the early years. The child's brain is very plastic, and there's research that shows that if the child is exposed to books from the parents or from others, it's going to make a big difference in promoting their success in school. So it is important. And also, this is a time when children are forming habits. I think it's very important that we provide the healthiest kind of food. I think that parental involvement is important. And since language development is also taking place at that time, more so than even later on in life, I think it's very important that correct English be spoken by the teachers, and that just overall it be a really healthy environment in terms of.
Thank you. Patty Finer, please.
Early education is very important, and it's very important because children learn the most between ages 2 and 5. One thing that I would like to see the district do is add a GIF year. This is a year where children who maybe are not ready for kindergarten have the advantage of having an extra year to develop, whether they're young or whether they're just not prepared, and it would help facilitate them into kindergarten and get them ready.
Thank you, Patty. Craig Foster, please.
This is a really important question, and it keys up a lot of things we'll be talking about tonight. Equity is such an important part of what our district is committed to, and I'm committed to, closing the achievement gap. And a lot of that is under our control. A lot of it is not. And preschools is a huge factor in giving every child the opportunity to achieve throughout their life to the fullness of their potential. And I'm really glad that we have under the district's control a network of opportunities to impact children during those years. We also have the Cradle to Career Initiative here in Santa Monica, which is hugely important. It is a partnership between the city, Santa Monica College, and the district. And that's a really wonderful collaborative tool for impacting this in ways more broadly than we could impact it alone. And I would also say that this has got to be, we can reach into the community, work with the community in collaboration to address this issue.
Thank you, Craig. Our second question will be asked by Rochelle Finale, who's president of the Santa Monica Malibu PTA Council.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Perhaps one of the single most exciting changes happening this year in our district is the complete rollout of the Common Core state standards in our classrooms. How do you feel the district can best support our teachers in the appropriate training and support to implement these new state standards?
Thank you, Rochelle. Oscar De La Torre, please.
Thank you for that question. I was very excited when the Common Core state standards rolled out, because this was an initiative that didn't come from the federal government, but the governments, from various states coming together to implement this policy change. And I think what we can do here in Santa Monica and what we've been working on is, one, to focus on class size reduction. So it's a priority for us in terms of our budget to ensure that we attempt to reduce class size to make a more manageable, student-to-teacher ratio happen, especially in schools of greatest need. So like John Adams Middle School will have a better ratio than other schools in our district because of the need that they have. The other thing that I think that's real important is professional development, and I believe that we should be collaborative in how we develop professional development to engage teachers, especially teachers who are working in our district for the first year, that there should be mentorship, development, and training so that teachers can succeed.
Thank you. Dun May, please.
Yes, thank you for the question. Common Core probably has a lot of very good aspects to it, but to be fair to all sides of the issue, there are people who are concerned about, certain issues regarding it. And I personally actually have seen some errors, logical errors, in one particular third grade workbook where they were explaining the fact that division can be thought of as repeated subtraction. And there were equal signs between expressions like 15 minus 3 and 12 minus 3 and 9 minus 3 and 6 minus 3 and 3 minus 3. They were trying to show that repeated subtraction, is a way of thinking about division, and that you have to subtract 5 times in order to get the answer to 15 divided by 3. But it was incorrect.
Thank
So,
you.
well.
Sorry. I must tell you this, the only part of my job I don't like is interrupting people. Lori Lieberman, please.
Given the newness of Common Core and the probably inadequate amount of money from the state for teacher training and how to implement Common Core, it's going to be a challenge. It is a challenge already, since Common Core standards begin in kindergarten and go through 12th grade in math and English language arts. We need to be committed to ongoing teacher training and augmenting and pushing for greater funding for continuing training. We need to take advantage of the professional learning communities that have been one of our superintendent's goals in our district, which are really beginning to take hold. Those present opportunities for teachers to share with each other what is and isn't working as we implement Common Core and anything else that they're doing. And we need to provide opportunities for teachers in different grade levels to meet together and, again, to share their approaches to Common Core.
Thank you. Ralph Metcher, please.
Sure. I'm excited about Common Core in our district. We've taken it seriously. We've worked with people even at the state level to develop the standards for math, and we're working hard on literacy. And we've developed curriculum maps so that teachers better understand how to implement it. Our teachers have been involved in professional development, exploring and training so that students end up with a deeper learning in their subjects. We utilized greater than $1 million that came through from the change of funding through the local control funding formula, and then the LCAP, the local control accountability plan, over $1 million to help prepare us to implement Common Core. It is exciting. It's an opportunity for our teachers to help our students, again, have deeper understanding of their subject matter.
Thank you. Richard Tavilder-Jessen, please.
Sure. I am so committed to ensuring that our children have a love of learning and a joy of learning. And the exciting thing about Common Core is that we have 44 states in the country who've relied upon the experts, teachers, the men and women who are in our classrooms, talking with our students, and seeing what our kids need to succeed. So what I'm excited about in moving forward with the implementation is the good dialogue and the collaboration with teachers and the administrators and the men and women who work hard every single day to ensure that our children do well. One thing that I think we have to be really cautious of is that we have to do all we can from the public's point of view to support those teachers. The Vision for Student Success and professional development particularly, which we have taken a step down a road to support each other, is key to this. So if the question's about how we're going to support our teachers in the implementation, professional development is key, and reliance upon the men and women who are the experts spending each and every day with our children.
Thank you. Craig Foster, please.
Common Core is fantastic. It's gotten a lot of bad press. I think the implementation is challenging, and it's challenging for us. But as somebody who teaches problem solving to fifth graders in math, I can say that it's absolutely the way we need to go, and that spreads all across the curriculum. It's the way to teach our kids to be effective in the 21st century. Within the district, I think the district has done a fantastic job of doing the best it can under very difficult circumstances. Terry Deloria is very, very focused on it, and they've spent a ton of time on professional development and a ton of money trying to get ready for this massive change. I think it's working well. I know they're observing it and managing it as it rolls out and making changes as they go along. And we as a community need to work very hard to support the district as it does this with feedback, support, and cooperation.
Thank you. And Patty Finer.
Thank you. Common Core is very exciting. As I said earlier, I'm finishing up my master's in educational technology, and this is right on point. There's 2 levels to Common Core. There's the Common Core base, and then there's an additional layer, which is the innovation, the creativity, and the engagement that the teachers are going to have with these children that are going to set them forward not only for the jobs of the 21st century, but for lifetime life skills. And that's the goal of the Common Core program. Now, that said, we do know that there's going to be a problem between educators and technology. They just don't seem to agree. And so right now we're integrating ideas on how we can blend the two together so that it'll make an easier transition for all.
Thank you very much. Our third question was submitted by Daniel Larios of the Santa Monica Lookout. Sorry. That just shows how old I am. He was unable to be here this evening, so I'll be asking the question on his behalf. He asks, if elected, would you take any action on the claims that the Doubletree Hotel, which sits on school board property, is not paying additional rent under the current lease? If so, what action would you take? Dun-May, will you lead us off, please?
Yeah, I definitely would try to take some action on this matter, and I have been thinking about this, and I have read articles about it. And I think there is an issue here that the board has to deal with. I know there have been a lot of closed session negotiations going on, which I've not been privy to. But my understanding is that an estoppel certificate was signed by the chief executive, the chief financial officer, and a lawyer that was hired by the district, stating that no rent would be paid to the district for anything before July of 2010 without sufficient evidence that no rent was owed. And I understand there is maybe some pressure from labor. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. It comes fast, doesn't it? Ralph Metcher, please.
Sure. The Doubletree hotel does sit on district property. It's a lease that was written in the 1980s where a developer actually built the hotel, this complex here and another complex on Colorado. It has had 3 owners. It's a lease for 66 years. It has a base rent payment every year to the district, which is about $645,000. And it has the ability for additional net income to come to the district. However, the way the lease is written and deductions for improvements and mortgage payments and the like that the hotel is allowed to use in figuring this, there has not been any justifiable net income. So in my opinion, we're not due additional net incomes. However, it's a long lease, and we have committed to reviewing the lease and seeing if there's a way to restructure it for the benefit of our students.
Thank you, Ralph. Craig Foster, please.
One of my focuses is focus, and I think what we need to be doing as a school district is focus on giving each and every child the best education we can do. Talking about the lease for the Doubletree Hotel is not on the critical path for readying our children for the 21st century. I think we as a district need to learn to address these issues early and address them well. The best solution that I have for the moment would be to get a highly respected third party to take a look at it, give advice to the district, have public discussion, and move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Patty Finer, please.
I kind of am in agreement with Craig here that we need to focus on the children, the teachers, and the staff that support those children. So I would recommend that we hire a third party to take a look at the lease and negotiate it as best they can.
Thank you. Richard Tabilderon Jeswin, please.
I really appreciate this question. Clearly, I don't sit on the Board of Education yet, so I'm not privy to the closed session conversations that have been had with regards to the legality of the existing lease. But what from I can gather, the lease needs to be addressed. The lease needs our attention. You know, I said earlier that for me, education is a social justice issue. And for me, education was a ticket to the middle class and allows me to live in Santa Monica and teach at one of the greatest institutions of higher education. Kids see what we do. The men and women on the dais for the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District are watched by the children. The DoubleTree Hotel has workers there who are unable to live in the community where they work. I have been a long-standing advocate that the men and women who work in this community should be able to live in this community and take full benefit of the excellent public schools that we have here. We need to demonstrate to our kids this social justice.
Thank you very much. Lori Lieberman, please.
I've had to recuse myself from matters involving the DoubleTree since my husband's law firm worked for the current owner prior to my serving on the school board, but and that's not the owner who originally negotiated this lease, but in order to keep things clean and to avoid any appearance of impropriety and having the school board having to deal with anything from that, I'm really not able to answer this question. Although I will say that I do think this is largely peripheral to what should be the issues that we should really be concerned about as a school board and an educational institution.
Thank you. Oscar De La Torre, please.
Yes, we have a bad lease. Obviously, the negotiations happened prior to myself or anyone else, here joining the Board of Education. I'm open to renegotiating that lease so that we get a better deal, so that the district is able to leverage, the income-generating properties that we do own to better serve our students, but most importantly, also to alleviate the tax burden on our residents and taxpayers. We could do a better job of managing these properties. The professionals that we hire in our school district, they're professional educators. That's their focus. We need to hire professionals who understand property and property value and know how to provide guidance to our school district so that we can leverage the properties that we do own so that we can alleviate the tax burden on residents and taxpayers in Santa Monica and Malibu.
Thank you very much. All right, guys, now we're going to turn to our first round of questions, and I'll be asking a series of questions that will be answered by all 7 candidates. So all have the same question. The setup is, in comparison to many districts, our students have access to more educational opportunities in the arts than most, and have coherent leadership in the form of a district employee and staff. On the other hand, our athletic department has no position at the district level, is disjointed, and leaves many students on the sidelines. So the question is this: do you have a vision for the future of athletics in our district? How would your vision embrace the thousands of students who excel in sports, a program area which is underfunded at all levels? Craig Foster, you lead us off, please.
All right. Our kids learn a lot of things in school. They learn math, they learn English, they learn language as they get older. They learn a lot from art. They learn a lot from participating in organized athletics. We need to support all of that. We need to support extracurricular academic activities, clubs that pursue that. And I think it would be very logical to pursue some sort of solution, particularly under VSS, right? This is a huge opportunity. One of the challenges for us, or one of the opportunities really for us moving forward, is to re-envision VSS as a much, much bigger part of how we can do amazing things in our district. So I would love to see this considered under a future plan for VSS as to how do we support a broad range of extracurriculars. I also think this is a great opportunity to partner even more with our cities in middle school athletics.
Thank you, Craig. Richard Darren, Justin, I knew I'd botch it.
You did just fine, thank you. You know, I am so committed to retaining our kids. Retention is key. Closing the achievement gap is the work that I do at the college. It's the work that the men and women do pre-K-12 with the school district. Whether it's the arts, it's sports, or other extracurricular activities, we know that young people are seen and find coaches and individual grown-ups who see them and see potential for them. We need to do all we can. So if the sense of the community is that we're doing well in the arts, but we need to do more work with sports teams, then we have the brain trust here to do that. We're committed to finding ways to hold on to our kids and keep them through pre-K-12 and get them onto career technology, career technical, and college programs. These extracurriculars, sports and the arts, allow for this. It allows a child to recognize what he or she loves, and that's what I think we should all be about.
Thank you. Lori Lieberman, please.
I think there are really a few different angles on this question. One is simply, I think, the need to provide and to support greater exercise opportunities, the promotion of the value of exercise and playing sports from early on. And so I do think that's in part about partnering with other agencies and groups outside of our schools and using our school facilities as we do to allow for more of that. I also think that the other piece of the question has more to do with high school sports, I think, and maybe a little bit middle school sports, but high school sports. And we have been fortunate in that our community, both in Malibu and Santa Monica, have really dug deep and supported high school sports in an era where we're really not funded to the level that we need to provide as much as we would like to.
Thank you, Lori. Oscar Del Torre, please.
Yes, well, I was co-captain of the football team at Santa Monica High School, and I can say that sports and organized athletics played a great part in my life because it gave me a new identity, a sense of belonging. The coaching staff, you know, they work miracles on a shoestring budget, and I think that coaches get very little credit, you know, for keeping students engaged. I mean, for many of the students that played football with me, that was the reason why they went to school. You know, that was a very important part of their life, the camaraderie, the friendship, the support that we attained on you know, belonging to sports to sports teams is very important. I think what also needs to happen is, well, one thing I want to do in terms of the vision is I think we need to create a task force to look at athletics, but not just athletics, but well-being in general, because we need to expand opportunities for young people who aren't participating in you know, on teams, because not everybody, you know, and especially at the high school level, is very competitive. But what about intramural opportunities and co-ed opportunities? There should be a lot of opportunities for young people to engage in sports beyond just athletics.
Thank you, Oscar. Patty Feiner, please.
Sports is very important. I am a college admissions consultant. I tour colleges all over the country and study them. And when students come to me who are athletes, they're looking for schools that will accept them. Sports is a way for kids to release tension. I hear there's a lot of depression. I hear there's a lot of fear. I hear there's a lot of stress. And when kids are playing sports, they can release those, what do you want to call them? Hormones, enzymes, whatever, to calm themselves. And in life, you have to have balance. That's what makes for successful kids, is that they have balance between play and study and work and play.
Thank you, Patty. Dun May, please.
Yes, I think sports is important also, and I agree with most of what I've heard. But in all fairness, there are a lot of sports activities going on, especially at the high school level. You know, there's basketball, football, water polo, swimming, baseball, football, and so on. So we are not doing that badly, but we could be doing better. And again, the exercise aspect is important. Also, even the character building aspect could be involved, because coaches very often will encourage students and give them positive reinforcement to do their best and so on and so forth. So I think the coaches should be supported more. As we all know, there have been some recent firings, and this was a very controversial thing, and I hope that never happens again. And I think sports can also be introduced, maybe not in terms of actual sports, but just exercise can be introduced just even in elementary school classrooms as a break.
Thank you, Don. Ralph Metcher, please.
Thank you. Athletics are another area that the change of funding and loss of funding through Prop 13 that kind of was left on its own for a very long time. Parents have been great in supporting. At Santa Monica High School, I think we have 57 teams, but they do kind of run a bit of silos. There is an athletic director, but I do think it's time, I think the board agrees, for us to take a look at having a more comprehensive athletic program at all our secondary schools. I was an AYSO coach for 10 years, and I know that the girls that I worked with, developed self-confidence, teamwork, cooperation. They stopped me in the street, wherever 10 years later and just say, hey, coach. So the value of athletics is great, and it's what gets some kids to come to school every day. So we need to take a better approach.
Thank you, Ralph. So we've received a number of questions regarding the PCB issue, which I guess is some bad chemical stuff, at 2 of our schools. So we've combined them into one question for all 7 candidates. As you know, the issue of PCBs in school buildings has become a high visibility issue in Malibu. Based on the construction history and age of the school buildings throughout the district's environmental science consultant is preparing a comprehensive PCB-related building materials inspection, management and removal plan. I thought I'd finished it. Management and removal plan in coordination with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, which would address all district school buildings constructed between 1950 and 1980 when these materials were commonly used. The question is, what do you as a candidate for the Board of Education and potential school board member want to say to the parents of Malibu High and Cabrillo Elementary specifically? What do you want to say to the parents of the school district as a whole? Richard Tavildarun Jeswin, please.
What I'd say to the parents is what I've been saying in my meetings as I go to Malibu and I talk with families there, and also parents here in Santa Monica who also share concerns about the safety of their kids. What I'd say is that you would have a man, me, sitting on the dais who understands the fear and the concerns about safety questions for their children. I get it. I'm a cancer survivor in remission. I understand the fear that comes when we think that our children may be put in harm's way. I also believe that the men and women who are serving currently are doing their level best, their absolute best, at working with the Environmental Protection Agency and finding that moment when we hear back from the EPA about a plan. What I'd say is that we're going to move fast as we possibly can, and we're going to look at not just Malibu schools, but the entire district.
Thank you. Lori Lieberman, please.
I would also say that we do understand the concerns and fears that have been widespread. We recognized early on that we are an educational institution, and as such, we really don't have the scientific expertise to really address these questions without help. For that reason, we hired the environmental engineering firm that we did. We've consulted with the EPA. We've consulted with the Department of Public Health and the Department of Toxic Substance Control from very early on. And we've really taken our lead from them. They have guided the decisions we've made about what to test. We have tested the air and the dust because those, as we've been told by the EPA, are the routes of exposure, and that's where we need to make sure that our students and staff are safe and are not being exposed to anything unduly.
Thank you, Larry. Craig Foster, please.
What I would want to say to the parents of Malibu and to the rest of the district is, we've got you. We'll take care of this. And that means testing. It means talking about those results, because there is no one place we can look to get a perfect answer for the question of how much is too much. I think ultimately we all know that any amount is too much. And then the last thing is, based on those conversations and that testing, we have to do however much or however little is required to make our schools safe based on our understanding and based on our tests. Richard said earlier, our kids learn more from what we do than what we say. And this is going to be an issue that's going to plague them over and over again in their lives. The things we've done to the environment, they're going to be cleaning up. And this would be a perfect opportunity to teach them to be good stewards of that environment and good stewards of their children when their children grow up.
Thank you, Craig. Dun May, please.
Yes, I think this is an important question, and I would definitely want to see the simple requests that have been made by the activist parents in Malibu to be fulfilled. They're asking for testing for the pre-1980 buildings, and they're asking for caulking to be removed if it contains higher levels than are legally allowed of the PCBs. And in the meantime, they're asking for portables to be installed so that there's a place for instruction to take place. And I think this is all perfectly reasonable. Now, it is going to take money, and so we come back to money issues, and that kind of brings us to the question, is the district getting proper value from its assets? For example, the DoubleTree Hotel is on district land, and is it getting the proper rent? The percentage rent, which is the third tier.
Thank you, Dun. Thank you. Oscar De La Torre, please.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think PCBs and all toxins need to be removed from public schools. I think that when we send our children to public schools, it's very important that those environments are safe and that we can guarantee that, that we can look at the teachers and the staff and the parents and the students who are entering our buildings and say that these buildings are safe. And unfortunately, we can't say that with 100% guarantee, and that's something that I'm very proud of my position on this issue, because I've been calling for comprehensive testing, because I believe that transparency and accountability is vital to ensure the trust between the community that supports public education through tax dollars and the governing board. So, we need to prioritize the funding to do the testing. If we need to have portables, if we find that the levels are high, and the government has already said that it's hazardous when the PCBs are found to be 50 parts per million or more. And so I think that there's a big contradiction.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought it was 15 seconds. Oh, stop. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Ralph Metcher, please.
On record as stating that I support removing all PCB-laden building materials in our district. I believe that the appropriate way to do this is through the comprehensive management and removal plan, as you posed in the question, that we have done inspecting, cleaning, and testing to ensure that the rooms are safe for occupancy by students and teachers, and that we'll continue to monitor those rooms as we develop this plan and remove the PCB-laden material. There's no choice. We need to do this. It's for safety, and we need to start right away. And the best way is to have a plan that is put into action.
Thank you. Patty Finer, please.
Cancer does not discriminate. And to hear that there is 4 teachers who've come down with thyroid cancer, that there's 14 more staff and teachers who've become ill, and to hear that there's 4 students who have thyroid cancer from the class of 2003 when my son graduated high school is horrifying to me. I was up all night after I heard that. And for that reason, that's why I'm running for this seat, is because this issue has to be resolved. No matter how great the VAPADAC programs that I sit on and create with all my friends, no matter how great the athletics is, If your kid is sick or your kid is dying, doesn't matter. So this is an issue that has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with now. Now, each one of these tests are $60. 2 schools here in Santa Monica are thought to have the same problem, and I think every school for $60 can be tested to assure parents are okay.
Thank you. Our next question, do you believe it's fiscally and educationally viable to separate the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District into 2 independent K through 12 districts? If yes, are you willing to be an advocate for that separation, and why or why not, and how would you advocate? We're starting with you, Patty.
Oh, you are? Okay. I am not for this split. I think it would be catastrophic to both districts down the road. When I came to Santa Monica, I was told school started at 9, it let out at 2:15, there was no before school, there was no after school, there was no art, there was no music. I spent $275,000 sending my son to private school because there was no option for me. So I come back to the district today and I see that things have become much better and that children have all the opportunities there for them. I think it would be a real big mistake to have to go back to what was here 30 years ago.
Thank you, Patty. Oscar De La Torre, please.
Yes, I strongly believe in local control of public education, and I totally respect the residents of Malibu having that right. And I'm open to it. There's a lot of details that need to be worked out. You know, we have parcel taxes and bonds and a lot of things that we're in the process right now through the Financial Oversight Committee. The board has directed the Financial Oversight Committee to look into these issues so that we can look at the feasibility of separating, what's called unification, you know. So I'm open to it. I think that if it's beneficial to the students in Malibu, I mean, that's ultimately what I'm interested in is how does it improve the program and the offerings, the course offerings, the quality of instruction in Malibu and in Santa Monica. You know, so if both communities end up with a better education system, then I want to support it. But at this point, there's a lot of details to be worked out, and I'm waiting to see the results of the studies and the analysis that we've called for.
Thank you. Richard Tavildaran Jasmine, please.
I have a little different perspective, I guess. When I hear members in our community and our district say that they want something and that they feel as if an independent school district separate than that which we currently have is what they desire, then my first default response is, okay, let's talk about this. Let's get to this place and see if it can be done. So I've done a lot of work in researching and talking, and I think it's my position to say I support the concept. Now, I have some serious questions, like I'm sure everyone else does about it, but I'm ready to roll my sleeves up and work together as the 2 communities to find what's best for all the kids. We want all the kids to do well. We want to make sure we protect our teachers and their collective bargaining agreements and our SEIU workers. We can do this, though, because if this is the desire, the great thing about American public schools is that they're neighborhood schools, and we need to respect the neighborhoods and the people who live in them.
Thank you. Ralph Meacher, please. Metcher.
Yes. I too support the concept of doing the necessary research to determine the impact that it might have. It's interesting to note that we've been one district since 1875. Prior to the city of Santa Monica even becoming a city, the people here asked the government if they could start public schools, and they were told they could do that in 3 ranchos, including Malibu and Topanga and Santa Monica, and the area between that separated us then, and as it still does. Excuse me, there are serious issues to look at. Property dispersal, payment of bond issues, impact on teachers, on janitors, on carpenters, on bus drivers, on special education. And will the breadth of program be able to be continued? We'll be able to still teach Chinese, Japanese, higher levels of math. When you have fewer students, it makes it more difficult to have that diversity of classes. So we want it can only work if it works for the benefit of all students.
Thank you. Lori Lieberman, please.
A significant number of, I think, parents and Malibu leaders have really been pushing for exploration of this issue for some time now. And I support the exploration, the honest exploration of that concept. I think there's a growing consensus, actually, throughout the district that we should be exploring this. I will say that I agree with others who have spoken that it's critical that in our exploration, we look at the legal, fiscal, and educational issues and ensure ourselves of the viability of two separate districts, that both districts would be able to provide, as we now do, for all of their students. And I think that's the aspiration we all have, whether we're one district or two districts. And so my additional push, aside from exploring this issue, which I support, is that in the meantime, since it will take years to achieve this if we can, that we really begin to work together and build bridges among the Malibu and Santa Monica portions of our district.
Thank you. Craig Foster, please.
I support the concept and the reality of two independent school districts. In 1980, the state made it illegal to form districts the way we're formed because it doesn't work very well. We have two different cities that are under one structure. Two different cities have two different needs. I like chocolate, you like peanut butter all the time. Ours is made more complicated because 83% or 84% of the voters live in this town, only 17% live in Malibu. When you look into the math of the operating budget, you discover that separating would give Santa Monica $2 million of its own money back, which is currently spent in Malibu. I'll say that again, $2 million of Santa Monica's money is spent in Malibu that would come back. And Malibu would be fine because it would become a basic aid district and get $2.6 million more of its own. I think a great illustration for possibly why this would be a good idea is we don't actually teach Japanese and Chinese at Malibu High School.
Thank you, Craig. Dun May, please.
I see that a lot of people are kind of going in the direction of unification, but I kind of still am holding out a little bit of hope that somehow the tensions can be resolved and that the district can stay together. There are, I think, issues that Malibu stakeholders are concerned about that should be addressed more thoroughly, such as the toxins in the Malibu schools and maybe issues regarding centralized funding, the fact that there hasn't been any representation on the board, and perhaps even issues concerning lighting in the football field. So, we can try to resolve some of those issues, hopefully to the satisfaction of the people in Malibu. Now, as far as the fact that these are two very different communities, I agree with Craig. But at the same time, there's something to be gained by having different needs and different viewpoints. Just as in a discussion, it can be enriched by opposing viewpoints. And
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Okay, so the next two rounds, each candidate will answer a different question. I'm going to lead off with Oscar De La Torre. The state of California is committed to producing graduates who are both college and career ready. In these days of local control and focus on academics and college readiness, what will you do as an elected school board member to make sure that the career ready aspect is not forgotten?
That's a very important question because we do a great job. The regional occupational program, actually Rebel is back here, they do an excellent job in preparing young people, to work in the banking industry, to be entrepreneurs. I mean, we have an award-winning program here in our school district. I think one area that we can really grow in is with the Cradle to Career initiative that I was a part of leading here in the city of Santa Monica, to ensure that we provide ample opportunity for young people to either go the college route or to enter a trade and really a pathway to employment. I mean, my wife, who's running for the college board, we've been talking about this, how we have this vision to ensure that the young people of our community, if they choose to go to college, they'll be well prepared. But if they go into the high-tech industry where they can get really good paying jobs, that we should be doing our best and working in partnership with our school district, Santa Monica College, and the city to make sure that happens.
Thank you. Craig Foster, do you agree that the programs funded through contributions to our education foundation are critical to the quality of our students' education? And if so, are you committed to supporting the current policy to ensure all students have access to them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more than that, really. This is a huge opportunity for the district going forward. There's so much more we need to do. Our state funding, as I think everybody knows by now, is somewhere between 47th and 49th in the country, depending on how you look at it. And the only way we're going to be able to offer the kind of programs that we need to prepare our kids for the 21st century, to give them the child-centered education we all want them to have, to give them athletics, to give them art, to give them academic club experiences. The only way we can do that is by banding together as a community and raising not $4 million, not $8 million, but a lot more than that over time. We need to, I've talked about collaboration, we need to find partnerships in the community. There are plenty of people out there who have partnerships where they can provide services, academic programs, academic ideas. There's so many people we can partner with around the country by making ourselves that district that is doing those wonderful things.
Thank you, Craig. Dunn May, people in education are always looking for money. At some point, people cannot pay anymore, yet Santa Monica wants to keep the state-of-the-art programs. Do you believe that the Santa Monica schools should look at the possibility of becoming charter schools to help address this issue?
Do you mean like some of the schools should become charter schools? Is that what is meant here?
That the whole Santa Monica school system,
Okay.
maybe not every single one, but a large part.
It might be a good idea to see how it goes for one or two schools to give them that opportunity to have more control, to make their own decisions and see if they do better. Maybe they can be given freedom as far as what the curriculum is, and maybe they can have more freedom to modify the Common Core curriculum and do whatever they think is best for students. And then we can see if the outcome is better for the charter schools as opposed to the regular public schools. So I think it might be a good idea to just do it on a trial basis, just try out one or two schools that way.
Thank you, Dan. Patty Feiner, if elected, what is one innovation you would work to bring to our district quickly? Knowing that you will be one of 7 board members, how would you go about getting your innovation adopted?
Oh, that's a great question. I am working on a statewide program right now that has $120 million sitting in it. And I have a couple of glitches, but it could bring to the district not only some money, but it would bring a program that would help those mature students who have not gotten GEDs thus far to be able to qualify and then go back and get new jobs as an older worker, or help those students that have not fit into Santa Monica High School and then possibly or at Olympic High School move to the next step.
Thank you. Richard Tevilderan Jeswin, what do you believe is the primary purpose of a teacher evaluation system? Should student achievement be included in teacher evaluation?
I'm a teacher. I'm a tenured professor at Santa Monica College, and I am the biggest advocate of peer review and post-tenure review. Teachers, evaluating teachers is key to the improvement of our schools, and asking questions as a part of the outcomes that the district desires and that we as a community identify for our kids is absolutely appropriate. At the college, we call these our student learning outcomes, and we faculty members are always looking to see what the outcomes are and whether or not our students are meeting them. One thing I would suggest and have suggested, and I kind of hoped I had gotten Patty's question, is this question about innovation and what we could be doing. We need to ask our kids what their experience is like in our schools. And I think that in any evaluation system, not just peer review, but also having student evaluations is key.
Thank you. Lori Lieberman, parent involvement is one of the 8 priority areas that must be included in the Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP. How would you as a school board member work to enhance the district's current efforts to engage parents, families, especially those who have not traditionally been involved and were not part of our LCAP process last year?
That's a great question and a and an important question, particularly as we try to work with kids who come to the district with greater challenges. And I will say that one of the programs that has been instituted by the PTA in the last year or two, which I believe is called, Rochelle, help me, School Smarts, is geared towards this and has, in fact, I think, been a successful beginning and in making inroads into parents who have not traditionally been involved in our schools and getting them involved in small ways. The issue is really not so much do they come and sell cookies or work in the library. It's really how do they get involved with their own kids' education in the limited time that they may have, and how do we keep them informed about all the opportunities that for their children, all the additional things that they might not know about, like tutoring, after-school programs, and how do they keep in touch with the school?
Thank you, Laura. Ralph Metcher, this Youth Wellbeing Report Card documents that only 18% of the school district students who entered SMC as freshmen placed into college-level English and math. The question is, what is the school district's role in increasing student preparedness for college?
It's an excellent question. One thing that has been talked about some, which I fully support, is for students who will most likely be going to two-year colleges, hopefully to SMC, is to have them take the assessment exams actually at the end of 11th grade, and so that their math and English classes that they are taking in our district as seniors will be, the curriculum will be focused so that they can gain the skills necessary so that they won't be taking remedial classes when they go to college. It's one way of moving students up to being prepared and being successful, which is the most important part. But they have to feel that they can do the work, and they have to have the support. And I also believe that we should be providing support for our students who go to Santa Monica College on a continual basis so that they can then transfer to four-year colleges.
Thank you. Okay, so for this round, each one of you will answer a different question, same as before. Craig Foster, the job of the school board is to set policy, which the superintendent must then be held accountable for implementing. What policies do you think are not working, and what new policies do you think we need to add?
Oh my gosh. One of the things that's tricky when you run for office is everybody wants to know, what are you going to do? What are you going to implement that's going to change the world and make every child go to Harvard? And it doesn't actually work like that. The way it works is that the school board sits up here, the superintendent sits over there, senior staff sits over there, and everybody works like crazy to make the best school district they can. In a perfect world, they're talking to parents, they're talking to teachers, they're talking to the bargaining units, they're talking to the cities, they're talking to the community, they're talking to experts around the country. And in that process, they create a big picture view, which is the policy that's most important. What are we trying to do and how are we trying to do it? And from there, they flesh out what are the 2 or 3 things we need to get right this year and next year and in the next 5 years to get our kids the best chance to succeed.
Thank you, Craig. Dun May, what are your goals for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in educating our children and youth?
Okay, as far as technology goes, I think technology is very important. And I know the district is considering spending over $30 million for technology upgrades, but I do have some very definite concerns in that area. I think it should be done with a lot of caution because there are scientists out there who are concerned about the radiation from wireless devices and what effects it can have, especially on young children. So I think we should have some sort of study that is from an independent source, not from an industry source, which gives us assurance that the technology will not harm our children. We certainly don't want any unintended consequences. As far as mathematics goes, I feel that we should just be very careful to really be very logical in our presentations.
Thank you. Ralph Metcher, from your perspective, how does class size impact student learning? What's the ideal class size, and how will you use your position on the board to advocate for ideal learning conditions?
The ideal, class size, it's difficult to say exactly what it is. What we're interested in is ideal learning environment. We would love to reduce class sizes. Again, it's a financial issue. As we're looking for hopefully more revenues to come from the state, one of the objectives of the board is to reduce class size. Currently we have to, large classes impact the way teachers teach, the lessons they give, the amount of work they bring home, the amount of time they can spend with individual students. So the smaller we can make the classes, the better. The question is, how do we achieve that? And there are, we have some, like you say, we have some funds, or maybe other public funds that will be available, or state funds, to help us achieve the goal.
Thank you, Ralph. Oscar De La Torre. All candidates make promises. If reelected, you will be one of 7 school board members. How will you keep your promises? How will we know if you have?
Well, I think the important thing to say is that I'm not a rubber stamp politician. I think anyone who knows me in the community, who has followed my track record as a community activist, as a leader in this community, as an elected official, is that I'm going to always stand with parents, stand with students. I'm going to stand on principle for what's right. On the issue of the environmental toxins in Malibu, even though I don't live in Malibu, and I usually have been known to represent a low-income part of the city here in the city of Santa Monica, when I hear that people feel marginalized, or I feel that the government is not responding to their needs and not being transparent, I'm going to stand for transparency and accountability. When parents in our school district were being forced to sign gag orders to receive services in the special education department, I was one of the first board members that stood with parents, and we made some significant changes in the special education, and the system is a lot better. So I'm hoping that that'll happen in everything that I get involved in.
Thank you. Richard Tavildaran Justman. Describe your understanding of the differences between being an advocate and being a member of a governing board. How have you, or how would you make that transition?
I've been an advocate for public education since I was 18 years old, when I first ran for school board as a graduate in Castro Valley Unified School District. I've been an advocate for education through my undergraduate work, my master's degree work, and my doctoral work, and I chose to be a community college professor because the late June Jordan convinced me that I needed to be in the trenches where people need education most. And so I chose a career at Santa Monica College. Actually, I won the lottery and I got to work at Santa Monica College, which is an incredible institution. And I get to work every single day and advocate every single day for the life chances and opportunities for young people. When you hear me talk about wanting young people to love education and to be able to discover themselves, that joy, that awe, that's what you're going to get. And I'm not going to make the distinction between advocate and someone who's on the board. I'm running because I want to have this seat so I can do even greater advocacy for the kids in our district.
Thank you. Lori Lieberman. The board and parents have been through much heated debate over the past few years regarding the board's newly implemented policy of centralized fundraising. Please discuss your views on the role of private funding in public education as applied to our school district over the short and long term and under varied economic conditions.
Well, as most people are fully aware, our state does not fund public schools adequately. So as a result, we've been fortunate in our district to have incredibly generous voters who have repeatedly passed bond measures and parcel taxes and other local measures to support schools. In addition to all those voter-passed well, I'm even not to private fundraising adds then a little bit more to our capacity to serve our kids. And this made me nervous because she finished before I could even get to my point. So
Sorry.
I'll save
Well,
it
you
for-
have it, yeah, you have it in your closing remarks. Patty Finer. Would you support expanding second language offerings in the SMMUSD curriculum? If no, why not? If yes, what would your vision for district students be?
Foreign language is very important. When I'm looking at colleges, one of the things that I look at is their study abroad programs. Usually they have it divided into 3 sections. One is full immersion programs. Sometimes it's partial, and then there's the English language. In Italy, they offer English language, but if you want to go to China, you have to be able to speak some Chinese. Unless you want to go to a remote place where maybe you can find somebody who will teach you in English. So I would think that it would be a positive thing for the students to have some working knowledge of a language, because when they travel, this will be something that will come up. I know that when I was in France in 1997, Diana had just died. I was told when I got on a plane I couldn't have a paper.
Thank you. All right, so the time for questions is over. It's now time for closing statements. Each candidate has 90 seconds. We will go in the opposite order of the opening statements. So that means we start out with you, Patty.
Okay. My name is Patty Finer. I am running for this board predominantly because of the Malibu issue, but I'm also running because I want to look at the privatizing and outsourcing of education and also the paradigm effect that's being affected by the Common Core and technology. I'm a member of the Higher Educational Consultants Association, and I'm the area rep for HECA Silicon Beach here in Santa Monica. I have 20 consultants that I oversee over the greater LA area. I am the owner of the College Admissions Consultant, and we work with students who are looking for college-bound opportunities. But I also work with students who are looking to go to trade schools or to two-year schools, and this is very important because only 18% of the population has a bachelor's degree across the United States, and by 2025, it's expected that 41% of all the jobs will require a bachelor's degrees. Getting a student through to a two-year school at this point will often lead them to that bachelor's degree that they may have to do at a later time.
Thank you, Patty. Craig Foster, please.
Well, an hour and a half later, I hope that you know that what you see with me is what you get. Education is my passion. Excellence for the education of each and every child in our district is my passion. I believe completely in educating the whole child, in child-centered education, in the fact that we've got to teach our kids for a world that doesn't exist yet. In 1999, Google isn't what it is today, and 14 years from now, who can even begin to imagine what they're going to be using as tools in their life? And we need to somehow prepare them for that unknown. I believe in equity. I believe in making sure every child has that opportunity, not just the lucky ones. It's deep with me. It's something that's possessed my life these last 7 years. It's something that I really would deeply appreciate the opportunity to be able to contribute. And it's something that I think I could greatly benefit the district by participating in. I've been endorsed by the Community for Excellent Public Schools. I've been endorsed by Santa Monica City Council person Gleam Davis. I've been endorsed by School Board member Nimish Patel. I've been endorsed by every Malibu City Council member. And I would love to be your voice on this school board. My name's Craig Foster. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Tavildaren, Jeswin.
I really appreciate the opportunity to speak about the joy of education. My name is Richard Tavildaren Jeswin. I'm a father of 2 kids in our public schools. I'm a community college professor teaching at Santa Monica College, teaching political science, where I serve as the Associate Director of the Public Policy Institute. I'm a steering committee member on the CEPS committee, which is the Community for Excellent Public Schools. I have worked so hard for equity and for achievement, closing the achievement gap, and I would love to have your vote. I humbly ask for your vote on November 4th. For me, it's about seeing the way we can help children. It's about finding that joy of education and not expecting children to always come to us. Creating programs and curriculum that reach the needs of the child and allows multiple pathways for success. So some kids are going to go off and they're going to play sports, they're going to go in the arts, some are going to love science and math, some are going to go off to career technical education in schools, some are going to be artists and not go to school at all, some are going to go to Harvard. I hope a lot will go up to Santa Monica College. What we want to do is give greater opportunities for the kids in our district. I'm that person who can be the open, transparent, collaborative, making solutions together guy. My name is Richard Tavildren Jeswin, the longest name on the ballot. I hope to have your vote November 4th.
Thank you, Richard. Oscar De La Torre, please.
Thank you. I want to thank the League of Women Voters, PTA, all the parents who are here today in the audience listening, all the community members. I'm a product of the school district. I attended all the Southside schools, Will Rogers, John Adams, Santa Monica High School. When I was elected student body president at Santa Monica High School in 1990, I committed my life to public service and to this community. I came back in 1998 with a master's degree to work at Santa Monica High School. I worked for 2 years working with what I call at-promise youth, not at-risk youth, but at-promise youth. We have a problem of poverty in our community. That problem led to a gang problem that led to death. 62 homicides since the early 80s in our community. I understand that when we fail to educate children, we fail to provide opportunities for young people, it leads to death and destruction, really self-destruction, prison, incarceration rates. And I've committed my life to solving that problem. And in the city of Santa Monica, we have made great strides. We have a safer community for all children. I ask for your vote because our students deserve experienced and principled leadership on our school board. As a former student and employee of our school district, and also the current executive director of the Pico Youth and Family Center, I have what it takes to move our school district forward. I have 2 children that are students in our school district, and I plan to give my children and all the children in this school district the same opportunities I had while I was a student here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ralph Metcher, please.
Yes, also thank everybody for having this event and being here and allowing us the opportunity to speak to the public. You know, my dream for our communities has always included providing all of our children with the opportunity to acquire the skills necessary to be successful as adults. And we've made significant progress. We are financially stable, we have world-renowned music program, and many of our graduates do attend the best colleges. And I'm particularly excited about the implementation of the Vision for Student Success program, providing arts in all TK through 5 classrooms, professional development at all schools, literacy coaches and trained instructional assistants in our primary schools, and funds for unique programs at every school. We are truly at the edge of breaking significant barriers that have prevented us from fulfilling the district's mission of closing the achievement gap. With parity of program, we should begin to see significant gains from what have been our most underperforming groups, as well as higher levels of achievement from all of our students. If reelected, my focus will be to ensure that providing equity and access for all of our students remains a key district priority. We are finalizing a plan for the integration of technology in all classrooms that includes teacher training and providing students with handheld devices. We're working to create secure pathways to 4-year colleges for economically disadvantaged students. We will be building a new set of buildings and planning for the complete reinvention of Santa Monica High School. I'm supported by all our local unions and many local leaders in education and government.
Thank you. Thank you. Dun May, please.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. And again, my name is Dun May, and I want to say that I feel I have a really unique contribution to make. I have been teaching in K through 12 for about 40 years, which is a lot longer than anybody else teaching, at least at that grade level, probably at any grade level that's up on the dais here. And I have a sort of a perspective that is unique. And just like the Parents Television Council is trying to promote positive things on television, I would like to promote positive things if I get elected to the school board. I think there are a lot of simple things we can do. Now, I also want to collaborate with my colleagues on the school board if I get elected and work on all the regular issues. And I know there are many deep regular issues, financial issues, legal issues, and so on. And I'm certainly willing to do my part in that way. But I think there are a lot of simple things we overlook. It is true that what children see affects them, what they hear affects them. If noises are too loud, it can affect their hearing. I mean, there are things in our environment that we can correct, and that we should, just have maybe a moment of silence, as is being done in 19 states, and we can empower kids to think for themselves, like just by having, stories such as The Emperor's New Clothes being reinstituted into our curriculum.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. Lori Lieberman, please.
I want to first reiterate my deep commitment to our school district and to public education generally. Public schools, to me, should be places where students from all income levels and backgrounds come together and are provided with the highest quality of education we can offer so that they can all go into the world with the tools to succeed. I've been committed to finding the best ways to give teachers the supports they need to meet the needs of all students. And that includes those who are not yet achieving at grade level, and those who need extra challenges because they're ahead of grade level, and all those students who fall in between. My daughter, a graduate of our schools, is now in her first year as a second grade teacher, and so I hear every day about the challenges that teachers face in the classroom, and they are infinite. As candidates, we've been asked to respond to a number of concerns, ranging from how can we close the achievement gap, how do we improve school climate, should we separate into 2 districts, and a host of other worthy concerns. I've been working for 4 years to provide strong, thoughtful, inclusive, and collaborative leadership on looking at the many issues we face. I've played a leadership role in augmenting district revenues in the face of inadequate state funding. I hope to continue working on all these issues and to work with all of you and the entire Santa Monica Malibu community to keep pursuing our goal of excellence and equity.
Thank you, Lori. It's now time we can thank our candidates. Let's give them a big hand. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Santa Monica Education Fund and the Santa Monica Malibu PTA Council, I want to thank all of you for taking part in this candidates forum and for stepping forward to run for office. This forum will be replayed multiple times on City TV, Santa Monica City TV Channel 16 and Channel 99. For a schedule of replay times, we invite you to go online to smvote.org. And for more information on both local and state elections, check out Smart Voter at smartvoter.org. We also want to thank you, the audience and the viewers, for your interest. It takes all of us to make democracy work. Remember, cast your vote by mail or go to the polls and vote on November 4th. Elections are won by those who vote. Thank you.